Hey guys, I want to make a quick video about product packaging. This is a question that's come up over the last couple of weeks from quite a few people that I work with, and I just wanted to give you my thoughts on it. This is something of a matter of opinion, and you're certainly entitled to your opinion, and I'm not going to tell you that my opinion in this regard is any more valuable than yours. But I want to show you a couple of boxes here and just tell you what my thoughts are and what I've been doing. And I have done a certain amount of, I guess you could say, A/B testing on this, and I'm not seeing any real difference in terms of sales or in terms of feedback. So when you're looking at spending money on something to make it theoretically a better product, but if you're not getting any more money for it and it's not changing your feedback, then it's questionable as to whether or not you can really justify that added expense. So with that said, talking about product packaging, a generic brown box like this is pretty much the minimal. That's what most products are going to come in, unless you've got something that's designed for, just like retail display on pegs or something like that, that's going to be in a clear dispenser that is designed to be hung. Most things are going to come in some type of brown box like this. And I have no problem with that brown box whatsoever. The brown box is fine. I don't like things that come in plastic bags. I'm not a fan of things that come in just the white plastic bags with the gray interior that with self-adhesive edges to them. I think that is a pretty cheap way of packaging. But most anything I get at almost any price point, something like this is perfectly fine with me. Now, with that said, if I'm going to go out here, and I'm not going to do this for the record, but if I were to go out and buy a $10,000 watch, I'm expecting a heck of a lot better box than this for a $10,000 watch. At that point, you're up into premium or ultra premium type products, and certainly there's enough margin in a product like that so that you can afford a deluxe box. You might go with a wooden box with a leather interior and spend $10 just for the box, maybe even more for the box. But for most things that the person's going to take out of the box, throw the box away, it doesn't require long-term storage, it doesn't require any kind of safekeeping. It's a product that's meant to be used. The box is really superfluous. It's something that's going to go into the recycle bin. So again, this to me says, hey, we care enough about the product to ship it properly and to pack it properly. And I personally am okay receiving a product like this, and I'm okay selling a product like this. You see here another bigger example. For any of you that have ordered anything off of Amazon Basics in terms of things like sheets or certain clothing items and things like that, it comes in a brown box with their label on it. And again, I'm perfectly fine with that. Now, what I do for my average product is I have a full color label designed for that product. I used to design it myself. I'd go on Canva or some other website and design a label that looked good, that had my barcode on it, had my country of origin on it, the various things that Amazon requires. And I finally got smart and I started using Fiverr, and now I pay somebody about $25 to come up with a label that works. And the label, depending on the product, it may be a 6x9 label that would cover basically this whole back panel of this box. It might be a 4x4 label that would cover the top of this and down the side and then partially across the bottom. But I think that label enhances the box. It gives that full color exposure, or that full color pop, I should say, to the box. It just makes the box a little bit more exciting to look at. I don't think it matters because honestly, by the time someone sees it, they've already bought your product. But I do like leaving a positive impression with people in the hopes that they will come back and order something from me again. So having a box that I've spent, in the case of a 6x9 label, it cost me about 10 cents to have those printed, and it cost me about 10 more cents to have them attached to the box at the point of manufacture or in a prep center. So I'm only adding 20 cents to the overall experience from my end, and I think it's worth that 20 cents for the most part. So I do that more often than not. I'm not going to say I do it on every product, but certainly once a product has a place in my portfolio of products, I show it the love, so to speak, and I get a nice label made for it. And I use that in the future for all of that particular item. If I'm looking at something that in my mind is kind of a tier 2 product, which is a step up from what I just mentioned, I might even spend a little bit extra and go with this box, except have this box in white. We've all seen the glossy white boxes, and I think that makes your full color label pop even a little bit more and gives it just a slightly more premium experience. But again, I'm not selling ultra luxury items. I'm not selling premium items that really require that. But what I'm trying to do is exceed the expectation of the buyer. I'm not going to go crazy doing it because A, like I said, they've already bought the product by the time they see it, and B, I just don't think there's really a lot of value in it. But from a standpoint of a personal pride and being a proud merchant, so to speak, but also giving the people an opportunity to really have a positive experience with any product they buy from me, I like the fact that I'm offering them a packaging level that is above what their expectations might otherwise have been looking for. So it's never a problem to exceed expectations. But that's as far as I go on virtually all of my products. I'll either use just a plain brown box, a plain white box, or one of the two with full color labels attached. And I want to contrast this with, now this is not a product I sell, but this is one I bought. This audio interface box here by Behringer. You see, this is actually, for those of you that aren't familiar at all with packaging, this is actually, probably starts off as a white box. And if it weren't for this strip of color right here at the bottom, I would say this would actually be just a two-color print job with black and yellow on top of white. But this is probably what printers refer to as a full-color print job. Well, this box is an upgrade from a brown box, obviously. But I want you to think this through, because what we're doing here is we're combating and confronting conventional wisdom, because all the gurus out there who are talking about private label tell you that, oh, you've got to have this fabulous box and everything. And again, I disagree. I really don't think you have to have a fabulous box, and I've got the sales to support my side of the equation. But just to tell you, a box like this in limited quantities, if you're selling on Amazon and you're not buying in large quantities, say that you go to the manufacturer and you say, I want to upgrade from a brown box to this type of box right here, and you're looking at ordering 1,000 to 2,000 pieces of a particular product, you could be talking about a box now that's going to cost you $2, maybe even $3. It just depends. You're going to get a lot of different answers from a lot of different people. But in limited quantities like that, a box like this is not going to be cheap. And depending on what you're putting into it, it may or may not really fit into your overall equation in terms of maintaining your margins or increasing your margins. So I'm not saying a box like this is a bad idea, but a box like this for most people selling on Amazon is unnecessary. Again, if what I'm putting in this box is going to be $500 or $1,000 or even more, then I'm going to spend the money and get a fancy box. But if what I'm putting in this box, for instance, this is an audio interface. It sells, I think it's around $50. If I were going to sell a similar audio interface, I would not spend $2 or $3 for this box. There's just no need for it, because by the time the customer has received the item, they've already bought it, they've already paid for it. As long as the item is packed properly and in such a way that it ensures the contents of the box will not be damaged, the box has met my requirements. Now, this box is the way it is because this is probably designed with more of something like this was probably intended really for brick and mortar retail merchandising. This is going to be on a shelf somewhere in a Guitar Center or some other type of music supply store. And you want this to stand out when it's on the shelf, and you want it to be identifiable from every angle for either the public or store clerks to pull it off the shelf. So it's competing in a different world. It's competing again in a brick and mortar store, whether it's a Best Buy or a Guitar Center or some other type of musical supply store. It's on a shelf with other items that are probably similar in nature. It's on a shelf with other items that even aren't similar in nature, but you still want that visual pop to be there to where it draws attention to your product and hopefully increases your sales. It's definitely worth the money if you're marketing in a brick and mortar channel. Just bringing this video to a close here, if you're marketing on Amazon, by the time the people see the box, they've already bought your product. And unless it's a super premium product that pretty much demands that level of luxury from the second that people touch it until they're actually using the product, usually the box and money you spend on that box is not money well spent. It's not money that's going to give you any return on your investment, and it's not money that's going to help you sell more product. So just keep that in mind. As long as the box provides safety and a secure form of transport for the contents, it's done all you can really ask it to do. And if you want to enhance the product slightly, try my method. Go to Fiverr, get someone to design you an adhesive label that a size of which is up to you. But you can incorporate everything on that one label. You can do your barcode, your country of origin, and other important information on that label. And not only does it solve a number of problems for you in that regard, but it also gives you a nice visual experience when you pull the product out of the Amazon box that it arrives in. So, just think about these things. Again, my opinion, I am not an expert on this, but I do have a lot of experience dealing with this, and in my experience, the added expense of a truly custom box, especially if you're a low volume buyer, if you're looking at 1,000 or 2,000 pieces at a time, you will be paying a premium for a custom printed box. So just keep that in mind. Run the numbers for yourself, see what you come up with. If you have any questions, the comment section down below was made for you. And if you don't mind, how about hit like and subscribe so you'll get my future videos, and you'll help the channel out quite a bit. And we'll see you in the next video.